Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the December 21st, 2018 meeting to order. This time, call on Councilwoman McKinney to lead us in prayer, but I'm sorry, I do have some special attentions. So somebody press a button first. Okay, Councilman Brannigan.
Just wanted to mention that one of my friends, our Senator Danny Martini, had surgery this morning, had to have some fusion in his neck, and just want to wish him well.
Councilman Wilmot.
Yes. I have the same sentiment, and I wanted to ask that you please bow your head and join me in a brief prayer for Danny. Dear Lord, we pray that Senator Martini's surgery goes well, as the surgeons could have hoped for, and that his recovery be best as it could be. We also pray that his wife, Nina, has all the support necessary to keep everything in order for Danny, herself, and her family as he recovers throughout the holidays, and that his health be restored to the best extent possible. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Councilman Carroll.
Thank you. I would like to ask for your prayers for a family member and also a citizens of Kenner, specifically District 1, Ms. Dora Ridgely, who went on to our Lord and Savior, and we ask for your prayers for her and her family. Thank you.
Mayor Zahn.
Yeah, so special intentions for to think about and pray for our Fleet Management Director, Ronnie Villaro. He's in the hospital right now. He's fine, but let's just all keep him in our prayers because he's had ongoing bouts of illness, and he's back in the hospital. Thank you.
All right, Councilwoman McKinney.
Please bow your head. Lord, thank you for this day and the opportunity to come together to make decisions for our community and work together for the best of Kenner. Thank you for giving us your Son, Jesus Christ, and the holiday season to spend time with family, friends, and loved ones. May we cherish these times and look forward to the year to come. On this day, please give us direction, fortitude, and grace to deal with anything that may lay ahead. May we seek your guidance and work steadfastly in your name. Amen.
Councilman Wilmot, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. As we get started with the meeting, or before we get into the actual consent portion, I would like to, at this time, recognize, as we've done on the last several Friday morning meetings, the special guest, I guess you could say, that we have with us today. And as been usual, we have some residents from, is it now Laketown Village? Laketown residents. Okay, want to thank y'all for coming and being steady, members of the citizens coming to our daytime meetings, which is what we were hoping to see come. Second is the schools that have shown their very keen interest in bringing students, particularly whether it be student councils or some sort of leadership community. Today, we're very proud and pleased to have Bonneville High School leadership class. And waving at them. How y'all doing, guys? So I'm going to call up the teacher, Ms. Jennifer Pritchard, and let her come and talk a little bit, and then we will recognize the students that will join us up here.
I would first like to thank you for inviting us here today and allowing my students to participate in today's council meeting. My name is Jennifer Pritchett, and I have with me my leadership students from Bonneville High School. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what leadership is, because I get asked that question quite often. These students applied and were selected to be part of this program their junior year. The program is an elective class that focuses on developing their individual leadership skills. The class focuses on fostering self-esteem, positive self-development, creativity, ethics and values, understanding leadership, goal setting and attainment, group dynamics, teamwork, problem solving, and effective communication. This particular group of students are also part of the Kenner Chick-fil-A Leader Academy, where they participate in monthly activities provided by Chick-fil-A to serve the local community. I am proud of my students and honored to be their teacher and mentor, and I thank you again for having us, and happy holidays.
Thank you. At this time, would like to invite 7 of the students to come and sit up here on the dais and be part of the meeting, be part of our role in the meeting. And you can come up and pick whatever your choice is to come and sit by one of us, and we will welcome you and help make you see how government operates from this level. The first student I'd like to call up is, and please bear with me if I'm going to mispronounce this, Josephine Delvany. And Jo is, come on up, she is an exchange student from Belgium who is here for the 2018-2019 school year, learning what it's like to be an American teenager. Well, good luck with that, because we can't figure it out either. So she will, at some point, go back and take our culture with her to share with her other teenagers, I'm sure, and we welcome you. Thank you. Next is Zachary Hutchke. Zachary is an energetic leader looking for better ways to make his school and community even better than it is. He's an honor student and part of the track team, wrestling team, baseball team. Looking forward to a college career too. Malik Malik, I'm sorry. Like I said, please bear with me when I pronounce these names because I'm going to get them wrong. Malik, I do welcome you. Malik is one of Bonneville's top achievers. He has a GPA of 3.5, captain of the football team, and an all-star, district all-star football team. He's been a member of their student council. Isaiah Smith. Isaiah is another 3.5 GPA student. He participates in Upward Bound program, which is offered to Bonneville students through the Southeastern Louisiana University. He's been on the student council. He's a member of the National Honor Society and several others. Jaden Tassan. Jaden is a senior and been a role model for his other students. He's captain of the Bonneville Boys Step Team and president of the all-male uplifting group Entourage. He just recently attended this last summer Xavier University for a 3-week program, and he's in theater and the track team. Stephanie Velazio. Steph is a very dynamic leader. She is a member of the student council, serves as her student class president, holds an office on the Wellness Council, and she's a proud member of the National Honor Society in leadership. Her goal is one day, wait a minute. Why? We have some. Her goal is one day to be an elected official. So we wish you well with that and hope that we can give you some guidance and insight in that goal. And the last one is Preen Williams. Preen is an active member of the Bonneville family and works hard to meet their goals. She's part of the Southeastern Louisiana University Upward Bound program. through the hard work, perseverance, she has completed her high school graduation requirements early. Congratulations. And she will. She is also a member of the girls' step. She's the captain of the girls' step team and a member of the girls' empowerment movement. And so we welcome y'all to our meeting to see how city government operates and be part of the operation of our council meeting today. So with that said, I can now turn this back over to our council clerk to proceed with our agenda.
Can we say something?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Oh, did you have your light on? Because you,
Chris, you can go first.
okay, well,
You can go first.
is it,
And none of the time
well, hold on, wait, 1 second. Okay, Councilman Kennedy. No, she's got it now. I gave it to you, it killed her, so
Okay.
there you go.
Thank you. I just want to say that I'm excited to see Bonneville here. That's my alma mater. I wasn't part of the leadership class, but I was the student council vice president at Bonneville. So I'm excited to have you here, excited to have interested students who are interested in government, especially high achieving students. My nephew goes to Bonneville, is also a senior, so I have a vested interest in, everyone doing well and sharing the best interest of the students. So I hope that you are excited to be here and enjoy the meeting. Thank you.
And in her humbleness, she went on and has a master's degree, so you have a challenge. Follow her footsteps. Councilman Carroll, hold on, press your button again, Greg. Thank you, Councilman. How did? Excuse me. Somehow it jumped to Wilmot.
I'll clear.
I'm sorry, Greg.
Take Carol first.
Is it me?
Greg.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. To echo the words of Councilwoman McKinney, I am Councilman Gregory Carroll, and I, too, am always proud to see the students from the different schools in the city of Kenner and the surrounding area, to share the dais with them, to be able to participate in city government. That is always something that we should always do every opportunity that we get. But even more so today, because like Councilwoman McKinney, I am also a graduate of Bonneville High School. I am a Bruin, so today is a little bit special to be able to look out and see all of the many teachers that was there when I was at Bonneville High School to support me. I was an athlete, participated in the leadership classes, participated in Louisiana Spirit, and a number of things. So thank you guys for your continued work within the students of Jefferson Parish, and particularly the Bonneville Bruins. So go Bruins. Thank you, man. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. And try your mic, Tom.
Yeah, we're on. Thank you, Mr. President. And I, too, am a Bonneville graduate. I just wanted to ditto those things of my colleagues as well, Christy McKinney and Gregory Carroll. I think I might have graduated a little earlier than them, but nonetheless, I think, well, Gregory Carroll and I think we were around the same year, if not close to the same year. So thank y'all for coming, and I think it's fantastic to have y'all here today to learn how government works, and you probably have a good idea, but being here is an added token, and we appreciate y'all coming. Thank you again. Go Bruins.
Good, thank y'all. I didn't go to Bonneville. I went to East Jefferson.
Boo.
Oh, yeah. All right.
I'm just kidding.
I know. Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. In accordance with Council Resolution Number B 14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones, pagers, beepers, and other devices of this nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. Mr. Chairman, do we have any resolutions, motions, or other items from the floor this evening?
No, ma'am.
Hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Under the consent agenda, we have item 1, approval of minutes, the council meeting of December 6, 2018. I have a motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot for the consent agenda this evening.
Oh, the mayor's not speaking?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Item 4 is correspondence, reports from the mayor, CAO, or department heads. I apologize. Sorry, Mayor.
Mayor?
I'll let you go, Natalie. Thank you. Just a few things, guys. The food bank. I want to talk a little bit about the food bank, what's going on with that. Under the leadership of Chantel Miller and Siobhan Thompson, those two ladies have really turned the food bank operation around. Obviously, they are the director and assistant director of the Citizen Services / Food Bank, director and assistant director, and they have done a great job. If you went to Sipping with Sandy, you saw both those ladies there with other people that work for the city, along with the parish, doing what was good for the food bank in Kenner and Jefferson Parish. So I don't know if they're sitting behind me or not, but if they're looking at this, we do appreciate myself, Deborah, and Chris had spoken about that the other day, how much they've been putting into it and how much that food bank operation is actually changing. And to show how it's changed, just not be talking about it, they applied for the Entities Open Grant Program, and we have been granted $5,000 for the food bank. It's for community improvement, enrichment, environment, and healthy families, producing food for healthy families, making healthy families. This is a direct impact on our families in the city of Kenner. And the goal of the City of Kenner's food bank, along with these two ladies and everyone who works there, even their employees also, is to make sure there's no hungry children or families in the City of Kenner. So again, I want to thank them for their work. I want to thank them. I know it's not a lot of money, but it's something. It's very good, and it shows that they're going after these things. Today it's $5,000. Tomorrow it might be $10,000, $20,000. So they're telling me that they're behind me, so I appreciate the work that you ladies do. And also everyone in the food bank. Sales tax, another good news. We received in December October's numbers, because it's always like a month and a half, 2 months behind. We are up 7.45% in October's sales tax for the city of Kenner. That's a gain of $210,000. That's good news. And that's just October, so I'm assuming it's Halloween candy, Halloween costumes. I'm hoping that November sales tax and December sales tax reflect at least that, if not more. But that is very promising. It's up that much. For the year of 18-19, it's up 4.63%. Good news for the city of Kenner. One more thing is the Kenner Fire Department. I'm going to call the fire chief up to do some brief introductions, but I just want to say this. We have hired 2 new chiefs of administration. These are the assistants to the fire chief it's Terrence Morris, he comes from New Orleans, and Charlie Hudson coming from Jefferson Parish. Both these gentlemen have extensive background and experience bringing from 2 different fields here, the city of New Orleans and Jefferson Parish. I work directly, myself, Chris Fortunata, and Deborah Foshi, work directly with Charlie Hudson in the parish. I can tell you firsthand what he offers. I've met with Terrence, obviously. He offers a lot. I appreciate his involvement now to be with the fire department and how this is going to change the Kenner Fire Department, along with all the men and ladies that are employed by the Kenner Fire Department. We do have some new recruits that I met yesterday. Looking at those men and ladies, this fire department is really going someplace, guys. I really appreciate y'all's support, what you all do for this, and also what everyone in the fire department does. But I'm going to let the chief do a few little things, and then if you don't mind, Council Chairman, let Terrence and Charlie introduce themselves directly to the council and the constituents.
No, that's fine. And like you said, as long as they're going someplace and it's a fire, we don't need to stop them. Go ahead.
Chief.
Thank you. Like the mayor said, hired 2 new chief of administrations. The first is Charlie Hudson. Charlie started his career here in Kenner as a volunteer, and he moved on to be a dispatcher. From there, he moved to Jefferson Parish as he was the emergency manager for the parish. Charlie brings a lot of experience into the city and to the fire department. I just want to welcome him aboard. Charlie will be running my administration. Terrence comes from New Orleans Fire Department, did 31 years, retired as a district chief. Terrence brings a lot of operational experience to the city and to the department. Terrence will be running operations for Kenner Fire Department. Very happy to have them both on board. Very excited. Thank the administration for allowing me to hire these individuals. It's going to make a big difference within the department and to the citizens. Thank to the council for also approving this, because that was an ordinance as well. Just bring y'all up. Y'all want to say something?
Hi, Charlie Hudson. Born and raised here in the city of Kenner since 1971. Joined the Kenner Volunteer Fire Department in 1988. So now I have 30 years of service in the fire service. I've been a fire chief in the city of Westwego for 4 years previously, and 12 years with the parish. I was either the director or assistant director of emergency management with the parish. Very looking forward to this challenge. Got a lot of great things that this council and this administration has put forth for the fire department, especially the recruits and the work that Ms. Hilliard's been doing with us as far as the rating. Looking very promising. So we had a lot of good things going on for the city, and we look forward to the challenge. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Terrence Morris, and Charlie just said everything I wanted to say. I spent 31 years in the city of New Orleans as an emergency responder and retired as a district chief. Have a lot of experience with mitigating incidents and stuff. I'm glad to be a part of the city of Kenner now, and I hope to improve the fire department and keep the citizens of Kenner safe. Thank you.
Just an update on the academy class. The academy class did start Monday. You'll see some of them running around in bright green fluorescent shirts. They were running around on the levee on the Riverside, and they were running on the levee yesterday on the lakeside. So you'll be seeing them around running, doing exercises and things like that. The academy's going to go, the graduation class should be around in April. So y'all will be seeing a lot more of them through the coming months. So thank you.
Also, obviously, want to thank the fire chief for what he has done for the Kenner Fire Department. I didn't put that in my original statements, but as you see, you know, we are changing the fire department. I think you see that we're changing a lot of departments throughout the city of Kenner. If we get a little more time here, we'll be able to make some big change in the city with the help of the council. So we appreciate that y'all's help.
Thank you. Mayor, one question relative to your comments on the sales tax increase, which is great, but I did see where the state, at the first part of the year, will start collecting the sales tax for internet sales, and the parish will be getting it, so we should start seeing that too?
The CFO and I discussed that the other day. I'm going to let Mike Wetzel answer that part, but also legal needs to weigh in on part of that.
Oh, God.
Mike?
We actually have a call in to the state and waiting on a response as to when we will be getting that. But yes, you're right. They did start collecting, and we should be getting a portion of it.
Thank you. That's the sales tax that dipped for several years with people doing internet sales that we will now see come back into the city with the state collecting them and sending them off. Ms. Roussel, you have something to add?
I mean, we can get the details of it to you and the council, and I know it's being implemented. I'm not sure how it's going to be collected and dispersed, but we can get all those details and get back with you.
Yeah, well, like I said, the article I read, the commission that's in place has finalized all their policies, and they putting the notice out, and it was still maybe a month or so before they would start seeing the revenues, but there was some arrangement where they will do a specific percent to each parish. And then, as my point was, once the parish starts getting it, then we should see our share come to us. So we look forward to that. Councilman Carroll?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to first to welcome and thank Mr. Hudson and Mr. Morris to the city of Kenner, and particularly the fire department. I'm sure you guys will do a fantastic job. We look forward to your support throughout the whole city of Kenner. Secondly, I'd like to, just a couple of comments on the mayor. He first mentioned about the food bank, for him and the administration for having the confidence in the ladies that now run the food bank, to be able to choose them and have confidence in them, and also to know that these individuals worked within the city of Kenner, so they were chosen from within the ranks of the employees. That by itself is a plus for everybody that works in the city, because everybody that works somewhere wants to have the opportunity to improve, to make more money, to support their family, and to know and believe that if they are here, there are opportunities. So that along on him and his staff is something that's very important. I'd like to also thank Ms. Fortunato, who's director of that department, for her leadership for that and her department overall. So thank you guys. And for the citizens in the city of Kenner and beyond, if you would like to come to the food bank and support, because it's important not only for the food bank to help people who are having challenges, but it is just as important for us to give back. So if you could come for a couple of hours to support, I'm sure Ms. Fortunato would not discourage you to do that. I'm sure the ladies wouldn't also, to come and give a couple hours, because it gives you a chance to interact with the community. It gives you a chance to learn about the other services throughout community development, general services, and all about the city of Kenner if you come and spend a couple hours. So 2019, if you can make that as part of your resolutions, we will look forward to you to come out and to support. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. That will conclude the consent agenda this evening.
All right, motion by Councilwoman McKinney, seconded by Councilman Wilmot. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 7-0. Under the public appearance agenda this evening, we have item 9, public hearings for final passage. Item 9A is a public hearing regarding resolution number B16962, a resolution calling a public hearing to determine whether the structures located at 411 Moray Street in Kenner, Louisiana shall be abated by repair, rehabilitation, demolition, or removal.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, seconded by Councilman Brennan, to open a public hearing. Council members, please vote.
One more.
Need another vote? Thank you.
Motion passes 7-0.
All right, we are now in a public hearing on this matter. Does the planning or anybody have a presentation? Code enforcement, I'm sorry.
Code enforcement has a presentation.
Thank you, Code Director.
The structure is an elevated structure. It bears municipal address of 411 Morley Street in South Kenner. The property is owned by Mr. Alphonse Wilson and Etel. The structure was recently visited as recently by me as Tuesday. We contacted an engineer to perform an inspection to verify my report. The utilities have been disconnected. The electric meter has been removed. Some of the windows and doors around the perimeter of the property are boarded up. The evidence of termite damage to this particular structure is very evident. Portions of the exterior siding are missing, thus exposing the blackboard sheeting to the elements. The structure shows major foundation issues, which causes a major sag in the roof line. Based on the report of the engineer, the structure is a serious public hazard, and we recommend that the City of Kenner take the necessary steps to declare it a public nuisance and have it abated by demolition or brought up to the current city codes and ordinances. This structure is beyond repair, in my opinion, as well as the engineer that took the time to go out there and meet with me. This structure has been in disrepair since Katrina. We did contact the owner of the property. We also we have a curator here also as well that went out and served notice to the owners of the property. In my conversation with the owners of the property, they do not have the funds to repair the structure. The structure is open. The front door was open. I actually put it out to have it boarded. If you notice the pictures, I don't see the pictures on the screen, but the structure does need to come down. And I was actually going to ask for an emergency demolition of this property. Thank you for your time. I hope the council supports code enforcement with its determination of this property. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Sophie?
Good morning, council members. My name is Sophie Rosado of the Rosado Law Firm. Address is P.O. Box 641887, Kenner, Louisiana 70064. I was appointed as a curator to locate Alphonse Wilson, Susan Prophet, and Abraham Johnson. I ran an internet background search on Intellius for Alphonse Wilson by doing a reverse lookup through the address, and it showed that Alphonse Wilson Jr. was the property owner. Intellius provided no information for Abraham Johnson, so I looked him up on another search engine called PeopleLooker. It noted that Abraham Johnson was deceased with no relatives or contact information for me to follow up on. Upon review of the documents, I found that Susan Prophet was deceased through a succession filed in New Orleans on May 12th of 1990. Alphonse Wilson is deceased as of March 28th of 2018 through a letter written by his son, Alphonse Wilson Jr., to the city of Kenner. He provided his address and phone number in that letter, and as a result, on September 20th of 2018, I called Alphonse Wilson Jr., and it rang with no response, no voicemail, and disconnected. On October 30th and 31st of 2018, I called Alphonse Wilson Jr. again and was able to leave a message, and I spoke with him on November 1st of 2018 to inform him of this proceeding. He informed me that his dad and another child, Duana Cole, passed away on October 29th of 2012, and she had one son named Stephen Cole Jr. I asked Alphonse if he had a contact number for Stephen Cole Jr., however, he stated he did not. I asked him if he had opened a succession on his father like he stated he would in the letter that he wrote to the city of Kenner, dated July 11th of 2018, and he informed me that he was not financially able to open a succession on his father to date. I informed them that I was not his attorney, that property rights may be involved, and that I would call him again when I knew of the date of this proceeding. I then searched for Stephen Cole Jr. on PeopleLooker and was able to confirm an address and phone number for him. I also informed him of the proceeding and the date today. I called both of them, and they stated that they would both be at the meeting, and they are here today. Letters notifying the defendants were not mailed, as all are deceased. However, 2 letters were mailed to Alphonse Wilson's next of kin, his son Alphonse Wilson Jr., and the deceased grandson, Stephen Cole Jr., since his mother is deceased. These letters were mailed via certified mail on November 5th of 2018, and both certified letters returned claimed with the return receipt. A copy of all returned certified slips are included in my curator's note of evidence. Certified letters were sent by the city of Kenner to Alphonse Wilson, Susan Prophet, and Abraham Johnson on June 27th of 2018, and a copy of those letters with return letter certified receipt slip are included in my curator's exhibits. Not convinced all named defendants had been found, out of an abundance of caution for any other heirs that may exist with regards to the property, I did run an ad in the Times-Picayune on November 11th, 14th, and 16th of 2018, but have not heard from anyone else regarding this ad, and those are the steps that I took to locate the named defendants, and my search is concluded. Thank you.
Thank you. Any members of the family or interested parties that the curator mentioned was in the audience? Do y'all wish to come up and speak? Please come up forward, sir.
Okay. My name is Alphonse Wilson Jr., and good morning to the party and the council committee. Because once my dad, because during the time that my dad was elderly in age and all, because he financially didn't have funds to actually go ahead with demolition, because we had talked about it a little bit. And once he passed away, then I knew that at the point in time that I probably need to do something. Because previously, I pretty much did the maintenance where I made sure the grass was cut. I talked to my brother-in-law. He pretty much took care of that portion of the property. But now since his passing and I wasn't financially, so I was able to set aside some funds. So recently I have some funds I've set aside to put toward the demolition purpose. I contacted a contractor, Mr. Johnson, and he's been walking me through the steps what I need to do. So basically he told me the first thing I need to do is get the power lines removed. So I had that taken care of. The next step he told me I need to get the sewer cap as well as the gas line capped and capped at the street. Right now, since I pretty much started the process back around before Thanksgiving, around November the 20th, somewhere around that time, before that time. And back and forth, I've been, talking to different people at the utility company as well, the energy and things like that. And they in the process said with far as the gas line with Amos, said they was in the process of doing it, but every time I call back, they can't really give me any more information than it's because of the weather condition. They said it could take should be finished by December the 20th. I called yesterday to find out if it's been completed. But yet they said that from their information, they show that because of the weather, the rain, and things like that, that it doesn't show that it has been completed yet. So that's still in limbo right there. Far as the, let's see, that's the gas. As far as this, the water, I started dealing with the water as well. Because they said the sewer had to be recapped before I can be allowed to get a permit. So that's what I'm dealing with right now, because every time I call, talk to different people, and they said the meter was still there. I didn't even know the meter was still there. I thought it was already removed. So they just recently removed the meter from the property. So from that point on, then I said, well, I had the contractor going to get this guy, this plumber, he's supposed to go out there and recap put a sewage cap on it. And he said he had to do some digging for the pipes to come up, and then he can cap it off like that. But, and my contractor said the guy he completed it. But every time I called to find out exactly what stage, or I'm going to get a permit, or had they sent a letter to the water board, to Jefferson Parish Water Board. But from what they said, as they show, it hadn't been completed. So, like, that's another thing I'm trying to figure. I'm dealing with my contractor to find out what's going on there, but he said it should have been done. And right now, I'm in the process of waiting for these things to be taken care of before I can move on to the next step towards the demolition. Because I want to be in compliance with what the city has offered, because I want to get rid of the property and maybe sell it later on or do something else with the property. But between the different departments and everything else, I'm kind of in limbo, trying to figure out what step I need to go next. So at this time, it's like I had a stalemate. You know, I want to go forward with it, but I can't do it. Once I get these things completed and out the way, then I can go to the next step. Like I say, I live in Texas and I work with people in Louisiana, so it's like kind of conversation phone going back and forth. And I said, when the meeting comes forth, then I can go down and let them know exactly what I'm doing at this point in time. And that's where I'm at now. I want to be in compliance, but I just got to go through these other little factors to get it in order. And I don't know what timeline I have before the city says, hey, we need to go ahead and do it or demolish it or abolish the property, things like that. So that's where I'm at. So if anybody can give me an idea of what point in time you're looking at, then at least I have an idea on that point.
All right, thank you. Councilman Carroll?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. And Mr. Wilson, I would like to thank you for coming today and thank the fact that you are a resident of Texas, but you can appreciate here in Louisiana, particularly the state of Kenner, our concerns about properties that get in disarray. And for you to agree with the code director and the engineer that this property should be demolished. So we are on the same page with that. It's just a matter of working out a time frame to do that. You have chosen a contractor who will be able to support that. I will just say God bless you on trying to get someone within this time frame to even talk to you about doing something. It's just hard to do between now and the end of the year. So that being said, with the understanding, with the support that you are showing, it would be my recommendation to give you a realistic time to be able to accomplish this. And it does two things: it gives you an opportunity to get your business in order, and it shows us that you are true to your word in trying to do this. Because if you have contracted someone, obviously the cost will be a little bit more conducive to your pockets and not to the coffers for the city of Kenner, because it will be more expensive, because there are a lot of other things, attorney fees, that we will have to be a part of that. So I'm glad you've done that. I'm going to recommend and ask for support from my fellow colleagues and the code director to give you a two-meeting deferral to address this. But after that, you know, if it's to the point where your conversations with the director, with your conversations with the council has not progressed, then we will have no choice but to proceed and go forward and tear it down.
Right. And do you have like a time frame? You said 2 meetings, so what time frame?
I'll let the president tell you the time frame for the 2 meetings we were talking about. I'd like to get the support from them to understand that. And if anybody have any questions, they'll have an opportunity to ask you or ask myself or the director right now. So I would ask that you stay for a couple of minutes until we get through this.
And also, let you know that I did get the paperwork. I talked to my lawyer. He drew up the paperwork to make me the independent administrator of the estate of my dad.
Yes, that's another step forward. We appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. President. And that's my request, to have a 2-meeting deferral. I would appreciate if the council president explained the time frame to Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson, if this deferral request is approved, which we'll take that vote in just a moment, the council meeting that it would come back up is January the 18th on a Friday at 11 a.m., just like today. At that meeting, this ordinance would come back up, and have the same process, the public hearing. You would be hopefully there and present to explain what you've done, what you've accomplished to remediate the property or whatever you plan to do. And if at that time, depending on that, we'll take the vote to determine whether to demolish it ourselves or be satisfied that you've taken the steps to remediate the property.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and I also would like to speak with the director, Mr. Muhammad. All the things that I've said, the things that I'm requesting my fellow colleagues to do, I also like to get your support on this. I mean, I want to make sure that he has your contact number, my contact number. The things we established today just don't go to the wayside. If there's anything that comes up, the communication needs to be within this arena to make sure we know what's going on. So I'd like to have your thoughts, Mr. Muhammad.
Mr. Carroll, I have no problem giving an extension on this project with your goodwill and trust that you will support me when it comes time. This house is in deplorable condition, and I would like to request now that he go there and board it up because you can walk right in it. I mean, I kept it down tonight. I went away from what was my original script here because there's some things that if I brought out right now, you'd probably tell me to go demo it right now. But if he goes and boards it up right now, we'll give him a 2-meeting deferral. And after that 2-meeting deferral, or we can just say we'll give him 45 days, and if he doesn't have it in 45 days, we'll go on, let's just, why don't we do that, Mr. Carroll? Why don't we just say we'll give him 45 days, and if it's not done in 45 days, we'll move it forward and get it taken care of. Again, you know and I know this is in your district, and we've been dealing with this house for a long time.
Yes, and thanks for those comments. I'd like to get some points from the attorney as it relates to this, our legal position on this.
I didn't want to cut Mr. Muhammad off, but that is a good idea, is delay the effective date of this legislation rather than a 2-meeting deferral. You could delay the effective date by like 90 days. That would give the owners enough time to work with code and get it either demoed themselves or, but it would give them time, and that way you wouldn't have to come back before the council in the next 2 meetings or the next month.
Yes, and Mr. Wilson, I always say this. I'm kind of redundant with this, that whenever families get into a situation like this, it is not our intentions to be, not thoughtful, not to show empathy. We want to be able to support as much as we can. And as you can see from the mayor, from the code director, the attorney, and the council, we all are trying to work with you. So we just want to make that clear to everyone within the city of Kenner. The 45 days, I will ask for the 45 days. I also would like to ask the code director if you could have someone with Mr. Wilson go out there to see exactly that meets our standards when you say board it up to make it safe. Would you be able to have someone go out there and take the directions from the code to board it up to the conditions that we're talking about, Mr. Wilson?
Because if I knew, I could go do it today myself.
Well, before you leave, I would ask that you get Mr. Muhammad's contact information and see can y'all work out a schedule to meet out there and see exactly what has to be done. For more than less the safety of the community.
Yeah, okay. Definitely.
So I will rephrase or ask again, not for 2 meetings, but for 45 days, as the attorney has agreed to say that we are legally obligated to do that to my colleagues and ask for the 45 days. And is there a date we can?
Well, first off, Councilman Carroll, we're still in the public hearing mode.
Okay.
So I have Councilman Brannigan that would like to speak on this. So when we close out the public hearing, then you can make your substantive amendment to the.
Thank you, sir.
Councilman Brannigan.
James, I just want to make sure you're okay with the 45 days.
Meet him out there today. I'll meet him after the council meeting today.
Okay.
We'll go out there. If he boards it up and does what he says he's going to do and makes it somewhat safe, I'll give him the 45 days. But I want to keep it at 45 days. I don't want to go any further. That's why I don't want to put it on a deferral for 2 meetings. I want to keep it moving forward. So if after 45 days, if the house isn't torn down, we're ready to go and tear it down.
Okay. That's I'm fine with that.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else in the audience? Are you finished, Mr. Wilson?
But if the city tears, actually, I'm trying to just get a rough idea. If the city actually tears down, what kind of costs are you looking at? Because I know we're putting a lien on the property or something like that. So I was roughly get an idea of what I would.
with that structure, you're probably looking between $4,000 and $6,000 to tear it down. And what happens with that money will be put on a lien on a property, and once you sell the property, the lien gets paid off and you get the remaining funds.
Oh, okay, because I know the contractor was telling me a higher price, so I'm trying to debate.
No, it's a wood structure. It's not a very big structure.
Okay, all right, appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. As I said, any other members in the audience wish to comment in this public hearing on this matter? All right. Seeing none, motion by Councilman Carroll, seconded by Councilman Brennan to close public hearing. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 7-0.
All right, now we're back to motion by Councilman Carroll, seconded by Councilman Brennan. And Councilman Carroll, you would like to amend this to give 45 days?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to amend the motion to 45 days to allow Mr. Wilson and his family to demolish the home in accordance with the rules and the regulation of the city of Kenner, and ask for everyone's support.
Okay.
Yes.
Clerk says she's good with that. Okay. Any other comments on that discussion? All right, council members, on the amendment, please
It's
vote.
actually, you're not amending anything. It's actually, that will be your motion
Oh, okay.
for approval right now. That's what you're stating your motion is, and that's what you will approve right now. There's
Okay.
no motion on the floor, so.
Motion on the floor to approve this demolition with a 45-day date to do it. So, council members, please vote.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 9B is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 12,459, an ordinance amending the Kenner City Code of Ordinances to add section 15-101 through 15-109 to provide for electronic safety, traffic safety civil ordinance.
Madam Clerk, I have a motion by Councilman Segura, seconded by Councilman Wilmot for an indefinite deferral. With that, I will open the discussion on the deferral. First off, I want to commend all of the residents of Kenner that are here today to express their views on this matter. When this was put on our agenda some 28 days ago, it certainly excited some responses, and I can assure you that in discussion with my colleagues, we have all listened attentively to the texts, the emails, the voice messages, have read the social media post, and taken strongly into consideration those comments. But just for a point of reference, I need to bring back and remind you that this came to us from our police chief, who expressed a need to assist his department. And we as the council are here to do that, whether it's the mayor or the police chief or the citizens. Anytime there's a need for something to be changed or implemented, then that's our role to vet it out and look at it and then make a decision. So the chief presented it. We've been listening to your comments, talking to other parties to get information, and this deferral will take it off of our agenda, but it does not remove the problem. The police chief will still have speeding problem that needs to be addressed. We as council members get calls from residents telling us, please help me with this speeding problem on this street, this block, and our job is to refer it to the police chief because we do not have the authority to write tickets. So the police chief gets those calls, and then he also gets his own set of calls, and he has to respond to those requests and as he sees fit. So we do not try to unequivocally tell the police chief how to run his department. So when he comes to us with a request is how we try to entertain it and see how to accommodate it. So as I said, if by deferring this, he will still have that need, and it's up to us to find another solution of some sort to still assist him with that need. I'm sure most of my colleagues have had conversations with some of y'all as well as I have, and other suggestions have been offered, and we will explore those possibilities to see which one will be the not only the best way for the chief, but hopefully the best way for y'all to understand and give support for. Because speeding is a problem in any streets of the cities and the parishes. You know, we say a lot about it in school zones, and certainly that's a near and dear to everybody's heart, I would believe, to have control over speeding when kids are moving around and don't always understand what a curb is and don't step out in the curb into the street. So if we have to take consideration and do something to control that speeding, it is our chief's responsibility to do so, and it's our job to provide whatever tools that are available to us to approve for him to do that. So with that said, this deferral is going to take this item off of our agenda, and we will continue to explore other avenues of ideas, not only from the police chief, but like I said, from numerous of y'all who have made suggestions, and come back and present something in the future and see if we can then reach a good working condition where he can do his job to make our streets safer, and you'll be comfortable with that tool. So again, that's what the purpose of this deferral is, and I hope that you understand we did listen to you, and we did take that in consideration to take this action right now, and we will continue to listen, but we still have a responsibility to make our streets safe, so we will be back. So, Councilman Brannigan on the deferral?
Yeah, I just want to let you know we are listening to you. I personally did a poll of residents in District 4 and asked a couple of questions, and basically the question of traffic cameras throughout the city of Kenner, it was like 70% no, 30% yes. But I found it interesting that the same people that answered that question, no cameras, 70%. When we asked if they would favor them in school zones, it was 99% yes to 1% no. I was blown away by that number. But I felt it was important to do a poll and make sure your tax dollars didn't pay for it. I did. But the bottom line is, I wanted to see for myself. I know there's a lot of polls out there, a lot of numbers being thrown around, a lot of social media polls, but I wanted to see for myself, and I hired ladies to make calls, and they made calls 2 nights. I had 3 ladies making calls 2 nights, and the cameras throughout the city, it was overwhelming no. Cameras in school zones only, it was overwhelming yes. So it's something that I think needs to be addressed, and because you wouldn't want a child to be hurt because someone passes a school bus or goes flying through a school zone. Thank you.
Councilman Wilmot.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I also would like to say that I appreciate all the numerous emails. I mean, no question about it. I received a bunch of them. So, and also phone calls. I got tons of phone calls. Also appearing here today. You know, I appreciate everyone who's coming and participating in the process. This is a process. Your voice matters, and we're listening. Obviously, I believe that we're listening. I thank all of you. I believe an indefinite deferral is in order, and I plan on supporting that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilwoman McKinney.
I just want to reiterate, excuse me, I know that I spoke to the media and I made it clear that there's a lot of people in the city of Kenner who were not for the traffic cameras, and I don't think that that's to me, and listening to the audience and listening to the voters, that's not the solution for a safety problem. As a mom, I think it's important that we do focus on the safety in school zones and safety on streets. And I think it's really important that we work with the chief to find a solution that is going to focus on that, because I think that that's one of the strong points for the city of Kenner. Safety, it's a good place to raise a family, and we just need to make sure that we work together and continue to improve in areas throughout the city. So, and I know that I'm definitely support this deference, and I think this is a good option. Thanks.
Councilman Carroll.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I too are glad that this resolution or this attempt to institute something within the city of Kenner was deferred, because, I too did not do a scientific poll like Councilman Brannigan, but going to the farmer's market, going to the Thanksgiving dinner, going to the the Christmas in the Park in North Kenner and South Kenner, had an opportunity to speak to people one-on-one about their feelings, their likes and dislikes. And for the most part, 90% of the people, if I can pick a number, just was not in support of this particular object to be used to ensure safety in the city of Kenner. Not that they were against ensuring safety, but they were not as in favor of this vehicle. And we have talked about other vehicles privately, what we want to do, and I think there is something, because everyone wants to make the city of Kenner safe, but no one wants to digress, I say, for lack of a better word, as we look at other parts of the state, of the country, who are finding other ways to do this and not use this mechanism. Everybody likes that old-fashioned police work of an individual to be able to address a situation, because they are able to, as men, to look at the situation and to be able to understand circumstances that come up, because I believe we all have been in a spot where you make a decision either to break the law or you make a decision to adhere to the safety. And you want to always pick safety, but now you have to deal with the law. So I think this is a good deferral. I think it gives us an opportunity to talk about it some more. I think it appeases most of the people concerns about going forward without just jumping into this. We appreciate your comments and concern, and we look forward to talking more about this and having you part of this process. So thank you all for showing up today and all your comments. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilman Brennan.
Thank you, Council Chair. Just to reiterate what Councilman Wilmot said, this is a process. I appreciate all the calls and emails that my office gotten and I've received, and I think it's important that communication stays open with all council members. So thank you all very much for the calls. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, and then just close on that, just for the sake of the viewing audience, please do not take this deferral as it's not useful to call and report speeders in your neighborhoods. Please do so. We will if you call us, we will still forward it to Police Chief Glazer. If you call his office, he will then allocate his resources to deal with it as he can. We do want to address it. He will address it. So please do not think this is, it's not worth still calling to report speeders. We know they're there. He knows they're there. And with that, we will continue the work to bring it under control and make everyone happy as the police do that job, which is not always happy, as has been said, when you get stopped. So with that said, I'll close. Council members, please vote on the deferral.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. Item 12A is summary ordinance number 12,460. An ordinance accepting the permanent donation of 18 works of art currently on loan from Henry and Pat Shane.
Motion by Councilmember Hayes, second by Councilmember Brennan. No discussion, comments. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 12B is summary ordinance number 12,461, an ordinance accepting a temporary construction servitude from the New Orleans Aviation Board for improvements below several roads at the Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport, Kenner PW project number PW-2018-12-SW, Hanson City Sewer Lift Station improvements for LS 4103 Firehouse Road Sewer Force Main Replacement Construction.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, seconded by Councilmember Segura. Councilman Carroll? Just a second. Okay. Carroll, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. I would like either the Public Works Director or someone, or Ms. Fauché, to give us a little bit more information exactly what are we voting on now, how it relates to the requirement or our support of this particular work to be done, a little bit more information for the people here and for the people in the audience. So if someone can just give us a little bit more than what is on the paper, I would appreciate that.
I'm going to defer for details to the Public Works Director, but just to remind everyone, we're under a DEQ compliance order. There's a number of upgrades that we had to do to the sewer collection system. One of them is to create a new force main, and the area where we are installing the new force main is on aviation property. So we have received a temporary construction servitude for our ability to build the force main on the aviation property. Is there anything I'm missing?
So if you could just, I mean, the word servitude, if you can just give us a little bit, you know, as.
Am I there?
Yes.
I need someone's permission to build something on their property. We don't own the property, but we need to run a sewer line through it. So we are running a sewer line through the airport's property, so the airport has to give us permission. And the way they give us a permission is through a vehicle called a servitude. We have a temporary construction servitude to go onto their property and build something there. So it's basically temporary because once we're done, we no longer have the right to access it. Servitude because that's really our right to go into someone else's property.
Thank you, Ms. Fauché.
Okay,
Perfect. No, I can count on you. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, seeing no other discussion, council members, please vote.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 12C is summary ordinance number 12,462, an ordinance amending section 15-23 of the Kenner Code of Ordinances of the City of Kenner entitled Specific Traffic Control Signs established by adding thereto no truck route signs on Driftwood Boulevard at its intersection with West Esplanade Avenue and Driftwood Boulevard at its intersection with Williams Boulevard, denoting Driftwood Boulevard as a no truck route. Mr. Chairman, we've received a request for a two-meeting deferral.
Yes, ma'am. Motion by Councilman Hayes, seconded by Councilman Brannigan for a two-meeting deferral. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution electing a Kenner City Council President and Vice President effective January 1st, 2019.
Would you, for the sake of the audience, read the names that will be?
Yes, sir. The council president would be listed as Councilmember Brian Brennan, and the council vice president would be Councilmember McKinney.
Thank you. Seeing no discussion, council members, please vote.
One more. Motion passes 7-0. Item 13B is a resolution ratifying the appointment of Edmund C. Haase III to the City of Kenner Civil Service Board in accordance with Section 8.02A7 of the Charter of the City of Kenner. Mr. Chairman, this resolution fails for a lack of a motion. Item 13C is a resolution ratifying the appointment of Terry Beth Defis to the City of Kenner Civil Service Board in accordance with Section 8.02A7 of the Charter of the City of Kenner.
Motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Hayes. Seeing no discussion, council members, please vote.
Motion passes 7-0.
Is Ms. Daffy's in the audience? Okay, just wanted, if she was, thank her for stepping up to take on this role, and we wish her the best in her handling our civil service matters.
Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 12,463, an ordinance accepting the responsive bid received from Southern Trailer Works in an amount not to exceed $10,478 for the purchase of one gooseneck trailer in accordance with telephone bid number T18-2635 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. Seeing no discussion, council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 12,464, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from American AVL to furnish a TriCaster Mini Advanced HD 4 WSDI bundle in accordance with telephone bid number T18-2632 and an amount of $10,962 for the Department of KTV.
Motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember Hayes. Seeing no discussion, council members, please vote. All right. Oh,
Okay, let me revote. Y'all ready?
Okay. Cleared it. Council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 12,465. An ordinance approving an agreement with Principal Engineering Incorporated to provide engineering services associated with the design and construction administration of the waste transfer facility in an amount not to exceed $161,442.50 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Segura, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Seeing no discussion, council members, please vote.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 12,466. An ordinance authorizing the City of Kenner to enter into an intergovernmental endeavor agreement between the State of Louisiana through the Department of Transportation and Development for the provision of a functional replacement facility for the Kenner Fire Department.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, seconded by Councilmember Brennan. Any discussion, presentation on this? All right, well, I didn't know if there was a brief presentation, but if not, I see no whichever. Nope, okay. Seeing no questions or any comments, council members, please vote.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15E is summary ordinance number 12,467. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Casco Industries Incorporated in the amount of $7,045 for the purchase of an American ADF G74 gear drying cabinet in accordance with telephone bid number T18-2625 for the Kenner Fire Department.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Seeing no discussion, council members, please vote.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15F is summary ordinance number 12,468. An ordinance approving amendment number 1 to the agreement with Duplanche, Ratman, Hogan, and Mayer, LLP, to provide audit services in accordance with Section 2.28 of the City of Kenner Home Rule Charter.
Motion by Councilmember Segura, seconded by Councilmember Carroll. Seeing no discussion, council members, please vote.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance ratifying an emergency repair to replace apparatus SCR catalyst and injector pass-through connectors and Engine 358 located at 1801 Williams Boulevard by Cummins Sales and Service in the amount of $6,986.64 for the Kenner Fire Department. Item 16B is an ordinance ratifying repairs to replace turbocharger in Engine 378 located at 1919 40th Street by Cummins Sales and Service in the amount of $6,928.74 for the Kenner Fire Department. Item 16C is an ordinance approving Amendment Number 1 to the Resident Inspection Agreement with Principal Engineering Incorporated dated November 9, 2017 for the WWTP Number 3 Generator Banking Project, which increases the not-to-exceed contract amount from $80,000 to $140,000 for the Department of Public Works. Item 16D is an ordinance approving an agreement with Principal Engineering Incorporated to provide engineering services associated with the pavement management system in an amount not to exceed $130,000 for the Department of Public Works. Item 16E is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from BLD Services LLC to provide preventative maintenance for existing sanitary and storm sewers, including service laterals, in accordance with seal bid number 18-6446, and an amount not to exceed $50,000 for the Department of Public Works. Item 17 is reports from the council and/or special committees.
Don't see anything, but I would like to just take this moment to wish all of the viewing audience and the members in the audience a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. This will be our last meeting for the 2018 year, and it's been a pleasure for all of us to serve y'all for this year, and we look forward to an even better 2019. Councilman Carroll.
Thank you, Mr. President. And to piggyback or to copy Councilman Segura, I too would like to thank everybody for the opportunity each day to support you within the city of Kenner as we try to make the city of Kenner the best city in the state of Louisiana. From my family, from the citizens of District 1 to the entire city of Kenner, to the employees of the city of Kenner, all the work that they do to help support us within our objectives to make the city a better place. We would like to thank you and wish you and your family a Merry Christmas and a blessed and prosperous New Year. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilwoman McKinney.
Yes, thank you. I just want to reiterate what my fellow council people said and wish you also a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I also want to thank my family who's out in the audience for coming and sitting through this meeting. I appreciate you. I hope that it's been educational for you as well. I also just hope that this thank you for your support. Want you to know that I always listen to every person who comes and expresses their opinion. I think it's a great honor to be serving, and I will always listen and always respect your opinion. So please share them with me. Thank you very much, and have a very happy New Year.
Mayor Zahn.
Same thing. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I just want to point out, we have had numerous council meetings right before Christmas. It always seems to end like that. This is the first one on a Friday before Christmas. And even with the traffic camera, people leaving, if you look behind and what you all looking at, this is one of the most populated meetings before Christmas that I've ever seen in the city of Kenner when I sat in y'all's seat or sitting here over the last 2 or 3 years. So I think this has really worked out well because usually you got an empty audience right before Christmas on a Thursday night. We are getting more, you all, with y'all's choice in this administration, are getting more and more population showing up and involvement on these council meetings, particularly right before Christmas. So I want to thank you all, besides telling the city Merry Christmas, I want to thank you all for the hard work that you all do, my administration, the directors, the assistant directors, our Kenner Police Department, Fire Department, and all the people that work for the city of Kenner, all of our departments that are out there every day. A Merry Christmas to them and thank them for the hard work that they do. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Councilman Brannigan.
Yes, just wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Spend some quality time with your family and friends. And like I said in my little TV thing on KTV. Look back at 2018, and if you need to change anything, you can change the future. You can't change the past in order to make 19 the best year ever. But happy New Year and Merry Christmas.
Councilman Wilmot.
Thank you, Mr. President. First off, I'd like to say I got an email from a spiritual friend of mine who's in contact with the Martinis, and they said, "Good news," and a quote, "Danny is out of surgery and doing fine. Doctor said it went very well. Thanks for all the prayers, Nina." So I just wanted to pass that along. Good news. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone in the audience. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right. That clears up everybody. I'm going to do something a little bit different at this moment, now that we've had all of our council members take the opportunity to wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. And as you said, we've been very fortunate on our Monday meetings to have a tremendous turnout from citizens and our students of various schools. But I just thought this today was a little bit unique because not just having these students, I was fortunate to have Josephine here, Joe, who is the exchange student from Belgium, sitting next to me. And I wanted to give her the opportunity to speak and let us know how what thoughts she has on this process, our city government, her school work, before she does go back home.
But first, thank you. That's really an amazing experience what I did here. The country is very different of what I have in Belgium. Like the government is very different. I don't know if you have the actuality, but actually in Belgium that's like crazy. We don't have any more government. So it's really a pleasure to be there, and I really love America because like your culture is very different, and I don't know. Just the weather is really strange in Louisiana. So yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. And don't be afraid that you didn't exactly understand what to say, because all of us get in that mode and get up here and put a mic in front of us and we'll just rattle off too. So you did well. All right, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. Item 18 is new business. We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business and motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Mr. Richard Brown.
A24 Sessions Lane, Kenner. And I am president of Citizens for a Better Kenner. And on behalf of Citizens for Better Kenner, I want to sincerely thank you folks for indefinitely deferring that speed camera ordinance. I knew, all of us knew, the citizens of Kenner would not want it. You know, we actually took our own poll, had almost 600 respondents who said overwhelmingly they don't like the cameras. There were other Facebook polls taken that someone else may speak on. I want to thank you for deferring it. I promise you, as I've already told several of you, that we will be happy to work with you to help come up with solutions to the problems. I think I have met with several of y'all personally. I've talked personally with every one of you, and we do want to try to help. I do have one or two things I've got to say. We've had several conversations here in the past about transparency and filing ordinances that are filed by caption only with no text, nothing in the audience for the public to look at, to know what's been filed. Ordinances being filed from the floor on the day of the meeting. And even this ordinance, you know, this was a speed camera ordinance. We all know it. But what's the title? To provide for electronic traffic safety. Nothing in this title leads people to believe it's a speed camera ordinance. Please, and I know none of you drafted this, but please, let's be a little more transparent and honest about what the purpose of an ordinance is. When I saw this, It naturally got my curiosity up. I thought, what on earth is this? I thought it was going to be some electronic billboard to put on Williams Boulevard telling people whether I-10 is blocked. So I clicked on the ordinance to look at it, and lo and behold, it's a speed camera ordinance. Please, let's don't do that. But again, thank you for indefinitely deferring it. We appreciate it. I appreciate the time and courtesy every one of you gave to me when I would call you, and we talked, and we had very pleasant conversations and meetings. We had a 3-hour meeting with Councilman Segur. We very much appreciate it. Thank you, folks, and I hope you all have a terrific Christmas. Hope we have a great new year. Looking forward to it. Councilman Brennan, looking forward to you being council chairman, and wish you the best of luck. I think you'll do a very good job. Thank you.
And Richard, I do want to emphasize the comment I made about the suggestions and the other remedies, and I know your group was part of that input that I received, and I do look forward to working with y'all and y'all helping us come to that resolution to resolve this issue.
Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Eddie Brenner?
All right, just want to say thank you.
Name and address for the record, please.
Oh, Eddie Bernier, 3312 Appian Drive. Thank you. We appreciate the deferment, and we'll also look forward to working with any of you for a better solution. I mean, there is a speeding problem in Kenner. I see it all the time, so we'll help you take the next step to fix it. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you. Mr. Mike Schultz?
Hi, thank you. My name is Mike Schultz. My address is 2133 18th Street. I'm just speaking because I'm probably not going to be here. I've been working out of town for the past year, so when it comes back up again, I won't have the opportunity to come speak. But just two things, you know. I drive around the city a whole lot, and I guess I'm going to differ. I don't think speeding is a draconian problem. I think traffic cameras, speed cameras are a draconian measure. I don't see the draconian problem. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm willing to listen. But the other thing is not only do these cameras, you know, specifically go after the wallets of drivers who are already, you know, we already pay the highest automobile insurance in the country, but specifically people like myself, when I am in town working, I make my living driving around all day long. So I get, you know, I'm suspect to these cameras 10 times more than most people who drive, park their car, and sit there for 8 hours a day and work, hopefully. But, you know, I think of some of the guys who work for our company who make $15 an hour, who drive the city streets all day. They get a ticket, bam, they just work for free all day. So I think these cameras kind of go after the wallets of some people a lot more than others. I just don't think it's a fair way to raise revenue. And again, I think there's a lot of things we can try short of these cameras. And finally, I just say that I fought these things when I lived in New Orleans for all the reasons that ended up playing out. You know, nobody around us, no communities around us or on the other side of the country are hailing these cameras as something everybody loves and wants, and they're working out great. In fact, the opposite's happening. So I look forward to working with you all to find a better solution.
Miss Beverly Crayas?
My name is Beverly Craze. I live at 29 Zion Street in Woodlake Subdivision. And everybody's coming up here being real nice, and I don't know if I can. I think I did send an email to my councilman, Brian, and I'm kind of going to repeat what I told him. And first of all, I don't think we need to camouflage this as safety. I think it's a money grab by the Kenner Police, the Kenner Council, the City of Kenner, and this administration. It's almost like a hidden tax on the people of Kenner. And history will show you that any place that traffic cameras were used, it has caused corruption. And I don't think we need to bring that type of corruption to the city of Kenner. So I know you all deferred it, and I hope I understand what you're going to do. You're not going to wait and come back with this same proposal to put traffic cameras, that maybe you'll come back with other ideas. I'm kind of asking a question and making a comment.
Well, we want you to use your time as you want, so you still have 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Okay. All right. That's about all. I'm glad you deferred it. I wish we could have gotten to speak before you all did that, so we could have let you know how we felt, but I think you got a pretty good idea from the attendance we've had of how people felt. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And somewhat quick answer to your question. Obviously, this topic, we got that message, and we will explore other avenues, but we ultimately will probably come back with something, but don't know where that's going to go yet, so we'll just go through the process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Alphonse Wilson. Mr. Earl Smith. He's gone. Mr. Greg Teff.
My name is Greg Taft. I live at 3720 West Loyola Drive. I echo that I do appreciate the council deferring that indefinitely. But I also want to extend to the council, the administration, and of course I see that the chief has left, that if there's anything that I can do to help to come up with solutions, I would be happy to do so. I mean, I've taken liberties at times to even, when I see a speeder, I slow down and make them follow me. When I see someone coming up on a bus, I make sure that I'm in the lane so they can't go around the bus when I see the signs. Because despite of what is said, speeding, passing up buses, and going through school zones is a problem. And what we need to do as the citizens and council, administration, and the chief is come up with good, viable solutions to put that to a stop. That being said, I'm going to close on a lighter note, which I don't normally do, as you all know.
I'd just be happy when you close.
Yeah, I am. I am. I just want to wish everybody, the council, the administration, and the citizens of Kenner a safe and prosperous holiday. Merry Christmas. And this is from me and my family. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Staff. And hey, by the way, you had 1 minute and 20 seconds left. Congrats. Thank you.
I'm getting better.
But in response to your request to help, we encourage, as I told Mr. Brown and his group, please contact any one of us, the police chief. We're willing and sit down with anybody and listen to other ideas and take and vet those ideas and then go through the process. Thank you. Miss Salili Molina, and I know I keep saying I pronounced that wrong, right? How you pronounce it again? Saley.
Saley Molina, 3629 East Louisiana State Drive in Kenner, Louisiana, 70065. Good morning. I am the administrator of an online community group on Facebook named We're From Kennerborough. The group membership is 8,356 people, of which 6,800 are active members and residents of Kenner. I had prepared to speak, but a lot of these points are now moot because it's about the speed cameras. But the poll conducted by the NOLA Initiative, which was shared with the council, was conducted, and an astounding 71% of the people in Kenner do not want cameras or any type of scammers. I'm not going to urge you to vote no. I'm going to just thank you for indefinitely deferring it. And I want to thank Chrissy Katsanis for standing up and speaking out, and it really made me feel like, I am represented in the council. It's not always going to be a 7-0 vote. Someone is going to say, well, no, I want to study this a little bit more, or I want to look into it a little bit more, and I appreciate that. When I see that you guys are all on the same page, it's nice, but it's also nice to see that someone stands outside of the crowd, like I've said before. But one of the things that you guys kept bringing up was addressing safety. If I'm not mistaken, just recently, Kenner was deemed the second safest city in the state of Louisiana by NOLA.com. That's an attribute to us, to the Kenner Police Department. I don't think that safety is a problem. And maybe I'm mistaken, like the other gentleman said, but I don't think that safety here is a problem. What I do think is that would be a problem is changing the traffic patterns in Kenner. Changing the driving patterns with no study, no history of school zone fatalities can potentially be catastrophic. I ask you to work together with the residents in your district to come to solutions that solve the real problems instead of creating new and more challenging ones. From what I understand, right now we only have 8 traffic officers in the city of Kenner, and the cameras or any type of device is not going to solve the problems, not necessarily of speeding, but some of these speeders are unlicensed, uninsured people. And a camera can't do that. Like Chrissy said, face-to-face cannot be substituted by a machine, and we need more Kenner police officers for traffic duty if that's what the solution is. It's not going to be a camera or a device, but we need actual flesh and blood officers that are going to make the stops of people speeding in the school zones so that they can check license, registration, who are you and what are you doing driving through our city. And I think that more police presence would answer that, although I am confused as to how we only have 8 traffic officers, but it's common knowledge in Kenner that when you get stopped, 5 police officers show up. So, if someone can answer that for me or help me to understand that, that would help. Speed cameras have been established that there are a loss risk due to the lawsuits and the ineffective functionality and the malfeasance by the third-party administrators. So, I was surprised that this council would put it forth and put it on the agenda. And I feel that this issue has kind of like the Grinch stolen Christmas and has absorbed.
Your time's up, but I'm going to let you try to wrap it up.
Okay, yes. This issue, like the Grinch, has stolen Christmas and has absorbed a lot of valuable time from the people that have put in, to be able to fight it. And I just wanted to thank the Citizens for a Better Kenner and Kenner United and NOLA Initiative and everyone who stood up for the city and for the residents who didn't want it.
Thank you. And Ms. Molina, would encourage you to perhaps enroll in the City of Kenner Police Citizens Police Academy, and that will give you an experience to learn what goes inside the police department's operation and perhaps answer that question that you just asked.
Okay, and to enroll in the police academy?
Citizens Police Academy.
Oh, okay, the Citizens.
It's the same, it's a similar format as a police academy for an employee, but it will give you insight to what your question was, and there are valid reasons for what you asked, why that happens.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Sure. I'm not sure if it's Mr. Al or Ali Morenzua? Huh? No. Or is that Al, is that you? I can't read your writing. Al Morrell?
You need glasses, man.
No, it's got too many letters in there.
That's just as clear as a bell.
Okay.
Al Morrell, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 46 years. At the last meeting, I questioned the funding for our 2030 plan, a plan that was implemented 6 years ago for capital improvement projects, and through $37 million in bond debt. I was advised at the conclusion of the meeting that we're sitting on $20 million drawing interest, and my next question would be, when are these capital improvement projects slated to begin? Second, the speed cameras. First of all, I want to thank the people for their voice and the council listening to that voice. And this is what happens when people get involved and they speak up, okay? Now, if this issue should ever come up again, I got 2 suggestions. One, we do an independent analysis of the Kenner Police Department to make sure that it's operating at maximum efficiency. 2, consider a referendum to put it on a ballot and let the people decide. Now, I want to alert the voters of the city of Kenner. The Jefferson Parish School Board has voted to put 2 millages, 2 millage increases on the ballot on May 4th. And I will oppose those millages and any millages that they put, and even some renewals. And I'm going to tell you why, since we got all these school kids in here today. Legalized gambling in this state, the gaming industry, the people went to the polls and legalized gambling because certain segments of the gaming industry were supposed to fund teacher pay raises and fund education. No mention about this multi-billion-dollar gaming industry. They just decided to put 7.9 mills on the ballot and 8.31 mills on the ballot. So I want to alert the voters of Kenner to look at this. It's slated to go on the ballot on May 4th. And I will oppose, I'll say it again, I want to reiterate, I will oppose any millage that the school board puts on that ballot until they can give some accounting of that multi-billion-dollar gaming industry. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite my school board member to come to the next council meeting, Sandy Denopoulos Passage, and bring her entourage with her, including the superintendent, and give us some accountability on this multi-billion-dollar gaming industry. Now, in closing, I want to take this opportunity, first and foremost, to wish the people of Kenner a very blessed and Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year. All of our employees, including the City Council and the administration, a blessed Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year. Anybody have any comments, any questions? Thank you.
Mr. Morrell, I will comment that your discussion on this multi-billion-dollar, you might want to take that to the state level. The state's the one that passed the legislation and put the rules in place. I know the citizens had vote, but that money goes to the state, so go to them and ask them where it's at. No, that's all. Just comment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next meeting to be continued.
Thank you. Pastor Jackie Brown Cockerham. Oh, there she is. Come on up.
Well, I say bless the Lord.
Thank you.
Pastor Jacqueline Brown Cockerham, 2610 Decatur Street, Apartment A. I would like some help on Article 13B. Can you tell me something about 13B? Is this person deceased or has this person withdrawn from this appointment? Because I noticed there was no motion filed unanimously on this appointment.
We always yield to you to finish your time before we take up your time commenting.
Okay,
so it's
all
still
right.
your time.
My last point is to all of the citizens, to the administrators, the council, and the viewing audience, that you will have a safe and a blessed holiday season and New Year, and that each of us will allow apology accepted. To the citizens, administrators, council, and viewing audience, to have a safe and blessed holiday season and New Year, and that we each allow Almighty God to inhabit our hearts and spirits through the coming year for a safe and better life and country for all mankind. Thank you.
Finish?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Just a quick answer is all appointments that the council makes to various boards are always subject for reappointments by other people to fill spots, and so this appointment tonight is one of those that we're going to look to refill.
Okay, so this one was just
Well, I'm sorry,
canceled, or-
I'm just commenting to your statement. Your time's up now, but the appointment is a for a timeline, it comes up for renewal, and we have the right to reappoint someone different. We don't have to take the same person that's been there. So we will come back now that this one has not been reappointed, and come back with a recommendation. A recommendation will be made to us for another name, and then we'll entertain that name.
Okay. I was curious as to how it, was unanimous that nobody filed or made the motion, but thank you, I understand.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless.
All right. Mr. David Weathersby? I think he left. Connie Zimmerman?
Hello,
Name and
everyone.
address.
My name is Connie Zimmerman. I live at 2453 Taffy Drive in Kenner. And I have about 5 quick points if I can remember them all. I put them on each of my fingers. The first and foremost is to thank each and every one of y'all for your sincere approach to this traffic camera problem. And the mayor's administration, I have to say, in my personal opinion, our last mayor, things always seemed to be very adversarial between the council and the people, and it was very disappointing and it was very frustrating. And this has been a great process, and I appreciate that very much. So thank you for that. Thank you for your vote. And the second thing is I want to acknowledge each of these students. I'm really impressed with each of you guys, and I think this is great that you're sitting up here today. This was a good day for y'all to be sitting up here to see what happens with the people and our elected officials. The third thing is I want to acknowledge to our law enforcement in Kenner that whatever speeding or traffic problems that we have, that is not, I think it's been clear with the other comments that people have made too. Nobody's dismissing that there may be problems. I also want to volunteer to assist to come up with solutions, and I'll probably do that through Citizens for a Better Kenner. And then the last thing is I just wanted to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Zimmerman. We appreciate that. That's the conclusion of the... Sure. Next time we have a sign-in sheet.
I thought I was going to be speaking during the...
All right, name and address.
My name's Daniel Hayes. My current residence is 405 Bengal Road, right outside Kenner, but probably in the next 6 months I'll be moving into the domicile that I purchased in Kenner, in Councilman Carroll's district. A couple points I want to leave you all to think about. I heard it mentioned that, according to one poll, citizens supported possibly putting these cameras, the traffic enforcement cameras, inside of school zones. I would strongly urge the council to never, ever consider that. Obviously, the safety of our children is paramount. So why would we take patrolmen out of there and put an automated machine there that cannot respond to any problem inside of a school that might occur? We need to make sure we have our patrolmen patrolling those areas and protecting our most vulnerable citizens. So keep that in mind if there's any sort of push to do this going forward. I think the people would much rather have a person there to handle problems and do the sorts of things like Councilman Carroll mentioned, as opposed to some automated machine that can only catch people that make a small mistake. So keep that in mind. Now, what's the solution for this council? The solution to this perceived problem of speeding in Kenner and safety is for you guys to not do anything, because driving cars, etc., that's a technology. Whenever technology creates a problem or a perceived problem, the market is going to create that solution. Cars are becoming more and more autonomous. I just recently bought a 2018 RAV4, which would probably be considered a level 1 autonomous vehicle with the various safety features in it. The 2019 is going to be considered what's a level 2. That technology's coming. It's got stuff, it's got features that prevent you from backing into someone, etc. The full safety package is not there yet, but it's coming. So you guys do not need to legislate a solution to a perceived problem that probably actually isn't there, because if there was a significant number of people being struck by cars and killed by speeders in this city, in this current age of social media, etc., and the information age, we'd know about it immediately. That's where the problem's coming in, is every little thing is magnified by social media. So we don't have a greater problem with speeding in the area. It's just a perception. And because of that perception, the market is going to provide the solution. And so basically, I would just urge this council to let things go. It's going to take care of itself. It's not a problem. Thanks.
Mr. Hayes, I didn't get your actual street number again. What was it?
405 Bengal Road, River Ridge, Louisiana.
Okay. And just a quick comment, the privilege to drive on our streets is a privilege, not an autonomous automatic thing. You get a driver's license, it's a privilege, you have to earn it and maintain it, and you cannot violate the traffic safety laws, or it can be taken, that privilege can be taken away. So that is why we have traffic safety laws, and the enforcement of those safety laws is the responsibility of law enforcement. So until the driverless car comes on the market and we have to rechange all of these traffic safety laws, it is still driven by a human being, and that is a privilege to drive on our streets. Thank you.
Movement is a freedom of movement is a right.
Okay. I'm sure these students have been in civics. They can debate that with you. All right. There is no one else wishing to speak. I'm sorry, Councilman Carroll?
Yes, Mr. President, thank you very much. Since the young lady, the schoolmate of my fellow council person here spoke, he would like to comment on a couple of things. So I give you Councilman District 1, Mr. Smith.
Good afternoon. I just want to say on behalf of leadership, thank you for inviting us here to the Kenner City Council meeting. And I also want to say thank you to Ms. Pritchett for being a wonderful leader and inspiring us to become better leaders and better people in the future. And thank you. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Good job, Mr. Smith.
Any of the other students wish to speak? Have your councilman press your button, or you press your button and you can speak. Come on now, don't be afraid. This is wait, press your button so I can recognize you. Go ahead. Mr. Malik?
Hi, thanks for letting us come to see how things work. I appreciate that. I've learned a lot of things, and now I see how it goes, so thank you. And if y'all don't mind, can we just take a picture after?
Sure. Wait, okay.
Prenay. Hi, I'm Prenay Williams. Thank you, Ms. Pritchett. We really appreciate you, and thank you for the opportunity to let us come and get an insight on what it is to be in a council meeting. And thank you, everybody, and have a nice Christmas.
Oh, my turn?
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for having us here today. I want to give a special thanks to Councilman Brannigan for the pins. He's supplying leadership with some pins. Want to say everybody have a safe and Merry Christmas and a very prosperous New Year. Thank you.
All righty, and not to be outdone here, not to put her on the spot, but Stephanie, you had a goal to be an elected official. So do you still have that goal after doing this? Okay, she shook her head yes, so that's a good sign that she'll just move forward from there. So with that said, we are now at the end of the meeting, and this will be my last meeting as council president. And I just want to first, sort of a mea culpa, say I apologize to some individuals who have brought to my attention that I don't close the meetings properly, that I closed them by saying I'll entertain a motion to close, and have been properly warned, admonished, and told it should be, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. So at this point, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn and thank our parliamentarian of the state for bringing that to my attention. Motion to adjourn. All right. Y'all.